Hello everyone and welcome to Quality Old Games. Today we are making another tier list, this time from the Scipii short campaign in Rome Total War, and the difficulty I played with was very hard, so that clearly affects things here. What to keep in mind here is that, in my opinion, short campaigns are pretty much quite a bit about speed. So, thus the late game units are practically obsolete. Say post-Marian reform units at the very least, and most of the late-game Primarian reform units as well. Also, mercenaries that are not available in the campaign map, where the campaign is mostly played, are practically obsolete as well. So thus, the early-game units have much more impact than the late-game units. But without further ado, let's begin. First we have Arab cavalry, practically not applicable in Scipii campaign because the focus is on Carthage and Numidia. Perhaps, I don't remember if they were available in Spain, I don't think so. But, I mean, Arab cavalry perhaps not. So, practically not applicable. Barbarian mercenaries, I don't think either two. Camel mercenaries, I don't think I had those neither. Mercenary war elephants, no. Barbarian mercenaries, I mean, a bit in the later campaign stages in Spain, but not really that great in my opinion. Bastani mercenaries not applicable. Cilician mercenaries, these neither. Scipii does have some mercenary hoplites available, at least in Sicily. And I think perhaps also in Northern Africa, in Carthage, they might be available, but at least in Sicily. So I think these are rather useful complement, especially as Carthage nor Numidia has access to phalanx units, so those units, mercenary hoplites, can really shine in the campaign. Then we have some knight mercenaries. I mean, there are some cavalry we need to fight, but I think we pretty much could do without. I don't really like these even as spearmen, so not really my thing. Then we have Spanish mercenaries, not useless, but I think I could do without these in the campaign. And the reason is that they are available so late, at least in my playthrough, that they are not really useful. So first I secure Sicily, then go to Carthage and push to Palma, and from there to Carthago Nova, and begin to take the whole Northern Africa. So these are available, but not essential in the campaign. And I'm not... should they be useful complement? Not sure. Let's give them that. Thracian mercenaries, not applicable. Mercenary camel archers, not applicable. Numidian mercenaries. These are available in quite nice numbers, and missile cavalry is quite nice quite often, and there are no many mercenary cavalry units available, so I think I will give them useful complement. Scythian mercenaries not available. Balearic slingers, I think once again useful complement. Available in Palma, and I think also in Sicily in small numbers. So I think quite valuable, because in the short campaign, in my experience as Romans, the availability of long-range missile units, say archers and slingers, is quite limited. So that's what makes them useful complement in my experience. Cretan archers practically not available. Illyrian mercenaries not available. Libyan mercenaries, I mean, they are available in large numbers, and you can leave them as garrison. They bolster the numbers of the army, but in real battle, I'm not certain that they are really that good. But I mean, perhaps low useful complement. but perhaps useful complement might be becoming a bit too much. Not sure. Well, let's put them there. Mercenary peltasts. I think I could do without them. If I remember correctly, 1 or 2 have been available in Sicily or somewhere in Northern Africa, but not really enough to actually change the course of the battle over there. Androdian slingers not applicable. Arcani, the temples never got to be high enough tiers, so not really applicable. Post-Marian units not needed. Post-Marian unit not needed. Too high requirements not needed. This as well. Then we have early bodyguard. I think clearly carrying the campaign. So one of the most essential units, especially in the early game. That's well, and also it kind of auto heals between battles, so that's great. And practically the only heavy cavalry unit Romans have available early in the game, so really one of the carrying units. Early legionary cohorts and early legionary first cohorts not needed. Equites. At least useful complement. And since Numidia relies quite heavily on those Numidian javelin men and Numidian cavalry, I think cavalry is actually quite important. So I will give these weak carries the campaign. Then we have Hastati. I think one of the other units carrying the campaign because you need to take larger cities. For example, Carthage has already stone walls. Thapsus might have stone walls when you reach that, and some other settlements as well. And also taking those wooden palisades or those settlements, these are quite nice, so I think they are one of the key units. Onagers, yeah, not really practically applicable because too high requirements. Incendiary picks, actually one of the few campaigns where these might be useful, but the requirements are so high that not really. Late bodyguard, not applicable. Legionary cavalry, not applicable. Legionary cohorts and first cohorts, not applicable. Light auxilia, post-Marian unit, not applicable. Murmillo gladiators, perhaps they could be trained because Carthage is actually, and Syracuse as well, quite big cities, but I really didn't bother with arena. So for me, not applicable. Onagers, not applicable. Peasants, well, as we are talking about Syracuse, Lilybaeum, Carthage, Thapsus, Cirta, and other settlements that are quite big, you may run into issues with public order. So I would say that these are useful complements, somewhere around here perhaps, but by no means carrying the campaign as in Imperial campaign where you need to struggle with public order quite a bit. Praetorian cavalry, not applicable. Praetorian cohorts, not applicable. Principes. I have been criticized for not giving them high enough rank in the tier list, and might be that I will be criticized about that once again. So practically in Carthage, you quite often have the facilities to begin to train these, or at least you have a possibility to use 4 turns to build up the facilities to train these. But practically in 4 turns, the conquering army will have moved on, and these won't be catching them anymore. So in order to use these in the field, you need to raise another army, but it feels a bit too slow. So I did train some of these, but I doubt that they actually never saw action. So I'm going to give them, I could do without them. And feel free to criticize in the comments if you feel so. Then we have Roman archers. Scipii begins with 1 unit of these. I think they are really useful complement. It's always painful to lose men from this unit. It's especially useful in siege battles, because the AI quite doesn't know what to do in those. So, useful complement. Then we have Town Watch, a bit different order so that we don't get an extra row for this practically not available and lose the sight of these. Town Watch, useless. I mean, if you need to use something for public order, do peasants. If you need to do some units for fighting, hire, for example, these Libyan mercenaries instead of Town Watch. Triary, yeah. Practically not applicable, because tier 4 barracks. Yeah, if I was struggling with Principes, absolutely no way I'm going to take up the settlement high enough for Triary. Velites. Perhaps I trained some units. There might be some enemy settlements where you cannot train any other units than Velites, fighting units than Velites, so they may have their uses at times, but still I think could do without, pretty much. War Dogs. I didn't train any of these. 2 turns on short campaign is too much, in my opinion. So I will give them high useless. And then we have these rest of the units, Urban Cohort, not applicable, Roman Cavalry, not applicable, Scorpions and Repeating Ballistae, not applicable. But yeah, that's my view of the units. Do you agree or disagree? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below, and thank you very much for watching. If you like the content, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member, and very special thanks to existing channel members Napoleon Complex, Kosakusar, Mark Anthony, Bluey Eye Wolf, Grant Robinson. Your support is greatly treasured. Have a great rest of the day. Quality Old Games out.